in the highlands of Ethiopia, carved into ancient monasteries, etched on royal records, and chanted in sacred hymns, lies a writing system older than Latin, older than Arabic, older than most scripts that shaped the modern world. A script that survived empires, invasions, and centuries, unchanged. A script so powerful, it became the heartbeat of a civilization. This is not Egypt. This is GEZ, Africa's script that refused to die. The story of the Ethiopian script is the story of resilience. The script, known as GEZ, is one of the oldest continuously used writing systems on Earth. Created over 2,000 years ago in the ancient kingdom of DMT and later Aksum, GEZ became the foundation of Ethiopian identity, its laws, its religion, its literature. While many African societies use oral traditions to preserve their memories, Ethiopia went further. They wrote their stories, their prayers, their history, and they pass it down uninterrupted for millennia. Today, GEZ remains a liturgical language of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and its descendant scripts, Amharic, Tigrinya, and others, are used by millions. But how did this script begin? Who shaped it? And why did it become one of Africa's greatest cultural treasures? To understand GEZ, we travel back to around the first millennium BC, to a region where trade caravans crossed deserts, where kingdoms rose on the Red Sea coast, and where merchants exchanged ideas as much as gold. The earliest ancestors of GEZ came from the Semitic languages that spread across the Red Sea. But Ethiopia did not simply copy foreign writing. The people adapted, transformed, and reinvented it, carving inscriptions into stones, palace walls, and obelisks. The most famous early example is the Aksumite inscriptions, written by kings who wanted their conquest remembered forever. King Ezana, the ruler who converted Aksum to Christianity in the 4th century CE, left records in GEZ declaring victories, taxes, and new laws. By this time, GEZ wasn't just a script, it was a political tool, a symbol of sovereignty. Aksum was writing its destiny in stone. As Christianity spread across Ethiopia, GEZ experienced its greatest transformation. Monasteries were born, hidden deep in mountains, carved inside cliffs, isolated from the world. Inside these sacred spaces, monks became more than spiritual leaders. They became guardians of African literature. By the 6th century, Ethiopia created illuminated manuscripts, handwritten books filled with vivid colors, portraits of saints, stories of kings, laws, poetry, and philosophy. These manuscripts were works of art, pages dyed in gold tones, text written with hand-cut reed pens, ink made from soot, honey, and wild plants, bindings stitched with leather soaked under the Ethiopian sun. One of the most famous texts is Akebra Nagast, The Glory of Kings, a monumental chronicle linking Ethiopian kings to the lineage of Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. This single book shaped Ethiopian identity for centuries. But the manuscripts didn't just tell stories. They preserved knowledge, astronomy, medicine, mathematics, agriculture, all recorded in GEZ. Imagine a monk in the 14th century kneeling in a stone church, copying a manuscript by candle glow. Every letter deliberate, every page a lega. Sigh, GEZ is not written like English. It is not written like Arabic. It is something entirely unique. GEZ is an abugida, a writing system where each character represents a consonant-vowel combination. One symbol equals one sound. This simple but powerful idea allowed scribes to write faster and more accurately than many writing systems of their age. The script has 26 base characters, each transformed into 7 forms depending on the vowel sound. A total of 182 syllabic symbols. For example, ha, hu, hi, all the way to ho. Its beauty lies in its rhythm, a visual pattern that almost feels musical. Even more astonishing, the script evolved organically over centuries. No empire forced it. No colonizer shaped it. It grew with the people. And unlike many ancient scripts, GEZ never died. It transformed into Amharic, into Tigrinya, into modern languages spoken across the Horn of Africa. GEZ is the ancient root feeding a living linguisty. See tree. Scripts vanish. Civilizations fall. Languages fade into silence. But GEZ, it endured. When Aksum declined in the 10th century, GEZ moved to the monasteries. When invasion swept across the Horn of Africa, monks hid manuscripts inside caves. When Europeans came with printing presses, Ethiopia held onto its sacred art of hand-copying books. Even during the 16th century wars with Ahmed ibn Ibrahim al-Ghazi, when churches burned and kingdoms fell, GEZ manuscripts were preserved, smuggled, hidden, protected. When Italy invaded Ethiopia in the 19th and 20th centuries, GEZ remained a symbol of resistance, identity, and spiritual unity. No matter the empire, no matter the conqueror, the script refused to be erased. Today, GEZ lives on. In Ethiopian Orthodox churches, priests chant ancient hymns written centuries ago. Millions read it descendant scripts, Amharic, Tigrinya, Tigre, using the same structure created 2,000 years earlier. Artists revive its calligraphy. Scholars study its manuscripts. Diaspora communities celebrate it as a link to their ancestors. And digital developers are now encoding GEZ fonts, bringing the ancient script into the modern world. Apps, keyboards, and digital art. GEZ is not just history. It is Africa's proof that literacy, science, theology, and philosophy flourished long before colonialism. In a world where empires rise and fall, writing is immortality. GEZ gave Ethiopia permanence. It captured the voices of kings, monks, warriors, and poets, and carried them to us across centuries. The story of GEZ reminds us that Africa has always been a cradle of innovation, that literacy is not foreign to the continent, and that writing is one of humanity's greatest victories over time. The script carved in stone, painted in gold, whispered in hymns, still speaks. GEZ is Africa's ancient heartbeat, and it echoes still.